Madam Tree here, back at it again with the Snicker of Magic. Yay! Last when we left off, we were on Chapter 9, and now we're on Chapter 10. Let's get to it. Oliver Weatherly. Charlie Sue peeped back in the door. A pair of thin purple glasses were balanced on the tip of her nose. Don't hold this meeting too long. The weatherman says a bad storm is headed this way. Oliver rolled his eyes. Virgil Dunson is not a weatherman. He's a meddling old farmer with a transmitter in his barn. Does it always rain here? I asked. Charlie Sue nodded. Most of the time, yes. You should get Oliver to tell you his theory about why, but not today. Y'all don't want to be stuck here in a storm, and Virgil says it's going to be one of the worst of the year. Storm or not, the light in Oliver's library was fading fast. That meant that the sun was sinking on into the mountains for the night. If the sun was nearly tucked in for the night, that meant the birds were finished up their daytime songs, and that meant that the crickets were turning up their string legs for Twilight symphonies. Sorry, I'm sick. Bless me. Anyways. Symphonies, and all of that put excuse me together meant that I needed to go home pretty soon, or I would be in a heap load of trouble. But my heart was telling me to stay put just a little bit longer. Listening to my heart usually turned out to be the right thing, even if it got me grounded for life. I'm almost done talking, Oliver said. Charlie Sue rolled her eyes and shut the door and mumbled something about Oliver never ever being done talking. Stone Weatherly didn't stay very long, Oliver said. He was cursed with a wandering heart and had to keep moving along. He was such a lonely man. I'll bet so, I said, especially if he flew around in a hot air balloon. There's nobody to talk to up in the sky, nobody except the midnight moon, and the moon only knows how to shine. That's a fact, Oliver agreed. Stone Weatherly stayed for a day and told me a story. He told me about his wife. They met in a hot air balloon race, he said. He told me about his family. Oliver's eyes twinkled, and then he told me the real story of the brothers Threadbare and why they quarreled, or who they quarreled over, I guess I should say. Oliver leaned closer to us and whispered. He told me what really happened that day at the duel. John glanced at me, and I glanced back at him, and I knew, the way only friends can figure out silent signals between each other, that John was every bit as fascinated by the magicians in Midnight Gulch as I was. Before Stone climbed back in his balloon, Oliver said he gave me his guitar, the guitar he played to make the clouds change shapes. The guitar he played to make the clouds change shape? I asked. The same one exactly, Oliver smiled. Stone told me there was still magic in these strings. He hadn't played it since, but he told me it wouldn't have mattered if he could. He didn't want to play his guitar without his brother there. He said all the magic was meaningless without Barry around. He told me to give the guitar to Barry if I ever saw him again, and if not, just to find a good home for it. Which he did. John smiled. Hey-yo, did I ever? Oliver said with a grin. And he gave you some good advice, Jonah said. I could tell that Jonah was doing. I can tell what Jonah was doing, trying to ease Oliver through the sad parts of the story, trying to speed him up towards the good. That's right, Oliver said. He didn't need Blackberry Sunrise for this part. I could tell he was remembering it as clearly as the day it happened. Before Stone climbed into the balloon, he told me to stop wasting my time and try to do some good with my life. Your words matter more than you know, is what he told me. And then he climbed back in that balloon, and he flew away. Just like a dream, Oliver turned his face to the fading light. Eldy May was right. Hope came down, Oliver laughed. Crashed right into my yard, I'd reckon. What happened with Eldy May? I asked. Oliver grinned. Later that same night, somebody knocked on my door. Lo and behold, there stood Eldy May Cotton. Her truck broke down near here, and she asked if I could help her fix it up. Did you? I asked. He grinned again. Eventually, but first I took Stone Weatherly's advice. I asked the only word that mattered. I told her that I loved her. Oliver chuckled, probably remembering the look on Eldy May's face. Took me some time to convince her she loved me, too. We got married the next summer. She was tired of being on the circus. Tired of talking about hereafters. Lots of right now passing her by. She said so we figured out ways to do good for people, to help them find joy in the here today. So they bought the ice cream factory, Jonah said, smiling. The Honeycutts used to own it, but they'd all passed away, and the factory was going under. Eldy said they should buy it and spruce it up again. Every good idea was Eldy's idea, Oliver agreed. After I bought the factory, we started leaving free cartons of ice cream for people, and that was a fine idea. Eldy said we could do better than that. We'd started reading local papers and listening to the news and planning anonymous. I think I know where this is going. Good deeds for people. Always in secret if we could. It's better that way. Oliver reached for a pad of paper on the table and wrote the Beetle, and then he wrote LD backwards, LD. And then he cut it down the middle and made a spider word of it. LD/D. That's my wife's name, of course, and the B, that's my middle initial. The Beetle became our giving name. We'd always leave a note behind with a red ribbon tied around it. Red was Eldie's favorite color. Oliver's chin trembled just barely. We had plenty of good years together. Hope came down for me many more times than I ever deserved, and now the beetle is my job, Jonah said proudly. But Oliver is still the CEO. Our conversation was rudely interrupted by the loudest thump of thunder pinching the sky that I'd ever heard. Rain pelted the upstairs window again, and new words dripped down the glass. Tremble, quake, secret, curse. My head shook as I jotted down the words in the blue book. I really should go home soon, but I wonder, did you ever hear from Stone Weatherly again? No, ma'am. Oliver shook his head. I have a feeling they both spent the rest of their time trying to find each other, trying to break that dang curse. Most people don't know about that part either. The curse was very specific, you see. Cursed to wander through the night, hill chords, Oligan, and all's made right. Where sweet amends are made and spoken, shadows dance, the curse is broken. My heart thumped yes so loudly that I could hear it echoing in my ear. I wrote Oliver's word in my blue book, chords Oligan, and all's made right. Oliver said, I don't know what that means, chords aligning, but I like to think the Weatherly brothers tried to figure it out. They tried to make things right. So many squabbles seemed stupid and silly as you get older. As Charlie Sue loaded the ice cream glasses and emptied cartons back onto the silver. Wait, where was I? But I like to think the Weatherly brothers tried to figure it out. Shirley Sue loaded the ice cream glasses and empty cartons back into the silver tray. I asked, why do you think they called themselves the Brothers Threadbare? Oliver scratched his bristly mustache. One of the big city papers called them the Brothers Threadbare on an account of how shabby their clothes were. The reporter joked about their accents and their style of music. Well, I'm going to end this here for now and then continue again soon. This is page 96, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye!